Have you ever thought to yourself, geez, I wish that Quentin Tarantino would direct an anime? Because there was that scene in Kill Bill Volume 1, but he didn't actually make that. The Ghost in the Shell guy, if memory serves, made that. But I want Quentin Tarantino to do an anime. And then you're like me and you're like, you know what? I don't really like Quentin Tarantino films because they're boring. There's long stretches where people just talk about random shit like Royale with cheese, because of the metric system and foot massages and just random pop culture references and all just like the social justice stuff that's just tacked on so Quentin Tarantino can virtue signal. Um, what if you were to remove all of that, take the good aspects of Quentin Tarantino, combine that with the good aspects of anime, and make a series? And that is more or less Baccano. Because you have a lot of the things that like Tarantino does well, like the ensemble cast of memorable characters, the kind of nonlinear storytelling, the humor that often gets really dark and sometimes super gory and violent, and kind of some aspects of the surrealism you see. And that's what Baccano more or less is. It's as if Quentin Tarantino had like took the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde potion, lost his worst characteristics, and made an anime. So, what is Baccano about? This is going to be a hard one to explain what the plot of this is. Maybe before we go into the plot, just a slight digression because we are talking about Quentin Tarantino. So, before I watched this, I watched Bungo Stray Dogs. Now, Bungo Stray Dogs was like okay. I found it very hard to follow. As you may have noticed, I'm bad at following things. Partially because I sometimes am playing like a Paradox game and I'm not giving it probably the attention I really need to. But like Bongo Stray Dogs just has such like a non-linear plot. And like sometimes the next season will be a prequel to the previous season and it just jumps around a lot. And I had no idea what was even happening. And then I posted about that on Twitter, and someone said, "Look, it is complicated, but you just got to trust the plan. You got to trust the plan. You got to trust that it's going to wind up in a good place." And I think that's very much the case with Baccano. Like it's insane. There's all kinds of random shit that goes on, but you just got to trust the plan. You just got to sit back, not worry too much, and just enjoy the madness. So, Baccano takes place in a universe in which alchemy exists. So you have a group of people who, I think it was in the late 1700s, summoned a demon who gave them the elixir of life, as well as the ability to create more of it. Although they only told one person how to make the elixir of life. So all the people there drank, well, with one exception, drank it and became immortal. Now, the only way an immortal can die is if another immortal puts their hand on their head and devours them through their hand. Just go with it, and as part of that, you get access to all of their knowledge and memories. And the main villain in this just kind of mass produces flawed immortals so he can keep devouring them. And it's a way for him to like learn really quickly, kind of like what Naruto does with shadow clones. The guy who receives the knowledge of how to make the elixir of life gives half of the knowledge to his brother, who then gets eaten by the main villain. And so we have like this chase across the eras of the main villain trying to get his hands on the other half of the elixir of life recipe, while also creating like an army of homunculi and partial immortals. His goal is he wants to create like an immortal army and then just keep eating them till he gains all the knowledge and existence. Just go with it. He's really fucking scary though. He's a good villain. So this brings us to the 1920s, wherein in New York, one of the bad guys, scientists, succeeds in remaking the elixir of life and perfecting it. And so it starts to kind of get doled out gradually through a series of misadventures to various people who then become immortal. And we just kind of get into this big mess because we have like all these different people with different agendas. We have like terrorists who want to hijack a train. We have like Miriam and Isaac who are like the schizo posters, who just kind of run around dressed up in various outfits, stealing money and like throwing it to people. We have Lad Rousseau, who's just a psychopath who just kills people. We have my favorite character, Firo, who's like a mobster, but he's like a really nice guy. You just have all this just crazy stuff, and all of it converges on the Flying Pussyfoot, which is a train going across the country. And you just have basically the entire cast winds up there, and just madness ensues where people are killing each other, people are stealing from each other. There's all these different agendas and stuff that's going on back and forth. It's kind of really hard to describe the show. You just got to kind of trust the plan when you're watching. And what I would recommend if you're having trouble following like all of what's going on is just kind of pick your favorite sub stories. Like personally, I like Isaac and Miria, and also Firo and his vegetable waifu. But it's more than just trying to kind of try to like piece the plot together. I think this show just really works once you kind of figure out who the different characters are and what their personalities are. You just kind of enjoy each scene for what it is. Enjoy Isaac and Miria just being crazy and running around and doing stuff. Enjoy Lad Rousseau just killing people and talking about how his like the love of his life is the person he wants to kill last. Enjoy just some of like the mafia stuff where people are just whacking each other and things like that. It's just very much a show like that. Like it's something you don't want to take too seriously. You just kind of have to enjoy. And I think I would recommend this as I did a video anime series for people who don't like anime, or anime series for people who don't watch anime. I actually think this would be a pretty good one because it doesn't feel that anime-ish. It feels a lot more like kind of an actiony movie with some supernatural elements to it. That's kind of like an action comedy or something that's really over the top, but with kind of like the editing you might see in something that Tarantino directed. Overall though, like I would say this is not exactly my thing. I'm not the biggest fan of Quark or nonlinear storylines or even maybe this general setting, but I had a lot of fun watching this and I really enjoyed it. And anytime there's something that's not really my favorite genre, but something I can enjoy and appreciate, that always gets a lot of points in my book. I know I'm not really talking as much about themes or the story or stuff like that than I normally do, but I think it's more important to just kind of have the right attitude going into this. And that attitude being it's just crazy, just trust the plan, just sit back and enjoy the ride. If some stuff doesn't really make sense, that's okay. Just pick the characters you like and follow their particular story arc and see how they interact together and enjoy the madness. So that's the review of Baccano. Sorry if it's a little shorter and I didn't really go into themes that much, but I just wanted to convey it's a good show. I'd recommend it. A lot of people would probably like it more than I did, but I liked it kind of in spite of the fact that it has a lot of things that I don't normally appreciate in a story.